Welcome to Directorial Disputes, the podcast where we give our unpopular film opinions and battle it out to decide whether they're deserving of their unpopular label. I'm James.
I haven't finished.
And he's eating.
I'm Josh.
What a brilliant start to
with
the
a mouthful.
series, eh? What a fantastic
yes.
start. Start as you mean to go
that's
on.
good.
I think that's the way to do it. So this week's unpopular opinion is coming from me. And unfortunately, it's not one that people are going to like. And I think that's the aim. I think that's the goal of this. My unpopular opinion is that superhero movies need to stop. Full stop.
No, I mean, this is a good first episode, I think, because you're wrong already.
Well, I mean, there's clearly some strong opinions. I mean, I'm saying as well that this isn't any of that like soft line belief. This is hard line. I mean, every superhero movie needs to stop.
Oh god, right, okay. This is gonna be interesting.
And that's all you had to say. That
I mean, I don't see how you could say everyone. The fact that you're like again hard line on this is just
we like to do all or nothing here. Absolutely all or nothing.
Well, I mean, okay, like we'll see. I seriously doubt you're going to sway me by the end of this. But,
I will certainly try my best.
Give it a go.
So this is the part where I get a period of time to just talk completely interrupted, which means Mr. Josh Lingwood there hasn't got an opportunity to say whatever he wants to say.
You know what? Muting the mic.
The mic is muted. The mic is gone. It's off, and that means I get all the time in the world to say whatever I want about superhero movies. And boy, do I have some things to say. So I'm going to start off. Superhero movies need to stop. And here's the thing. I'm not going to lie and say I've always hated superhero movies because that's just not true. I was all for it in the beginning. You know, you've got Batman Begins, Dark Knight, even Iron Man, even the first Iron Man. I'm on the train and I'm going. You know, it's the start of something new, something exciting. Everything before that had been a bit naff. And that's right, I'm calling out The Incredible Hulk. It had been naff up until then. And so we had superhero films, and they were just great and new and wonderful, and how much further we could be from that today. How much further could we be? We're in a world where every, what feels like 2.5 days, a new superhero film is announced. It's gone from Iron Man and Captain America to superheroes you've never heard of. You know, who is Black Adam? Who's that? Who is Black Adam? He's some bloke who has decided to stick a colour next to his name and gone, I'm super. You know, I don't care. I feel like I've gotten to a point where it's rinse and repeat with superhero films. And I'm so over it. I'm so over it. And, you know, they're oversaturated. They're bland. It's just same old, same old. And as much as we had the Batman come out recently, and it was good. I'm not going to lie, it was good. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it a lot. But that doesn't mean that I don't think superhero movies should stop. There is no exception here. They need to stop. We've gotten to a point where we need a period of time off. A year. No superhero movies for a year. Let people look at what they're doing, feel bad about it, have a little think about what they're doing to superhero movies, sit and have a little bit of a little think about it, and then come back with something new, something interesting, something exciting, something that isn't Iron Man or whatever their name is. Something that isn't Black Adam. Exactly that. And that's why I think superhero movies need to stop.
Wow, that was an experience to listen to there, getting really riled up. I can't say I'm pleased with that.
So are you not in agreement with me, sir?
No, I'm really not in agreement with that. I'm partly a little bit. I do partly agree in that I've now started to get like burnt out with superhero stuff in general. But I wouldn't say it should stop completely. I mean, yes, it's taken like the MCU like what are they at this point? What, the start 2008, and they're only now starting to really experiment with the format
They're only now starting to.
that they've had since
They're
Iron
now
Man.
starting to experiment. Where's the experimentation?
Yes. Well, and by start I mean two things they've done recently, which being She-Hulk, which by experimenting with the format, being a sitcom, and calling out like being meta about it, and calling out all of the backlash that it's getting online, and then also spoiler for the last episode, calling out the fact that the MCU has a format and it's not done anything with it. Like, it's funny, it's hilarious. And then also I think at this point is the newest thing they've put out is Werewolf by Night. It's like a 50s inspired horror film, which I'm assuming you haven't watched.
You know I haven't.
You dropped off.
You know I haven't watched.
You dropped off at Endgame-ish,
I
right?
don't know what the last MCU. No, I do know what the last MCU movie I watched was, and it was Black Widow, and it was like ripping my eyeballs out.
Wait, really?
Yeah, that was the last MCU movie I watched.
I liked the bit where she was sat there in her little caravan watching a Bond movie, because for a second there I was
watching a good movie. I know, it's absolutely insane. And I just love that movie for so many reasons. And the main one was that it had an end. I'll take your She-Hulk comment, and I'm going to have to drastically disagree with you, because what is with this extra reading? What is with extra reading?
Okay.
I don't want to sit down to a film with friends. You know, we all go. You and I. We go to the cinema. We go. Oh, let's watch this new superhero film. We sit down, and everyone's talking, and you turn to me and you go, "Have you seen She-Hulk?" And I go, "No, I haven't." And you go, "Well, you're going to need to have seen that for this to make sense." Why do those making superhero movies right now feel the need to give me work to do?
I can answer that in one simple statement: money.
But
money.
That's the answer to all of this, though, isn't it? Why do we have a movie every year?
What? What? Yeah, obviously, a movie. Come on,
Sorry,
4 at this point, right? But yeah, obviously it's money, and it's also getting more like, if you try and read comics at this point, that's why they reboot every 10 years ish, is because it's so.
So are you?
Why am I defending it? Because it was a fun TV show, and I get that you don't want to have to watch a show to understand a movie, but I think since they've started that, at this point those characters are that kind of within their own personality, in the sense that if they show up in a movie, that's who their character development is in their own show, then fair enough, and that's just who they are in that movie. But plot lines, I don't know at this point. I don't think they're really building that. I think they might have just started that at this point. Oh no, Doctor Strange, and you didn't see that one either, did you? You said last when you watched Black Widow. So you kind of need to have seen WandaVision to kind of understand fully why. But they do attempt trying to kind of explain within the film. So if you haven't seen the show, you'd still understand the movie. It's just maybe it would feel a bit undercooked, which you'd probably argue they always were.
So here's the thing. I would take your point if the TV shows meant that the movies were doing anything new. I take the point that a TV show is a brilliant way to get a character that might not be that interesting for 3 hours non-stop away to, bring them in. But I know I've said people are going to be cool and they're going to go, hypocrite. You've not seen a film since 300 films have come out since then. 300 people, 300 films have come out with 400 different new characters that you don't know the name of, have come out since Black Widow, and you've not seen them, and you're saying that superhero movies need to stop. And I take your point. But do you know why I haven't seen a superhero movie since then? Because they all look the same. Every single one looks the same. And I've seen some of the TV shows. I've seen some of them. Loki was pretty good. I quite enjoyed that. It was quite an enjoyable TV show. It didn't feel like work. But do you know why it didn't feel like work? Because it didn't feel like it was linking in to movies. I didn't feel like I had to watch it. I didn't feel like I had to watch it, and I watched it because it was good.
Guessing you haven't seen the trailer that came out like yesterday for the next movie, or one of the next movies. There's a trailer for Ant-Man, the third one. The villain in Loki is the main villain in Ant-Man. And is going to be, I'm assuming, in like the next Avengers movie as well.
Well, for people that can't see me right now, my head is in my hands.
But that's the whole point of comic books, is building all of that up and tying it in. They're trying to replicate that.
No, they're building it up and tying it all in for it to get incredibly boring.
Oh, yeah, no, I didn't say they're doing it well. I just said that that's what they're doing.
So are you saying they need to stop?
The MCU, I that's where I kind of agree with you on this, is that it's getting a bit thin on the ground, but I'm saying the whole kind of subgenre as a whole shouldn't stop. It's just the MCU is getting a bit
Okay, so let's put the MCU to the side.
Yeah.
Let's put it to the side and deal with other superhero movies. So we've had The Batman.
Yes.
That's a recent superhero movie.
It is.
We had Justice League.
Oh.
Type 1 and Type 2.
Right.
It's like a diagnosis, isn't it?
I mean, it felt like it watching them, yeah.
So, yeah. And then Black Adam is a DC one.
I have seen that, yeah.
I haven't. Have we had any others? Have we had any others?
League of Super Pets came out. I didn't see it.
Oh, yeah. No, I haven't seen that, no. But the thing is that all of those could be really interesting films. And I saw The Batman because it looked interesting. And, you know, I love Batman. You know, Batman as a character is super interesting to me. And I saw it, and it was a good film. I really enjoyed it. But it got to a point where I went, do I want to see a superhero film? Do I want to see another one? Oh, it's just another superhero film, isn't it? I really hope that it's not just another superhero film. And in many ways it wasn't. But in many ways it also very much was. And that's the problem, because whereas with, obviously, you have genre formats. Every genre has its format. And superhero movies is, you've got your superhero, they're having a lovely time, something goes wrong, superhero goes, I'm going to save it. They can't save it. Something else happens, and they save the day. That's how it goes. That's how it goes with every single one of these movies. And I know there are going to be people going, well, there's this film that doesn't happen, and there's that film that doesn't happen. Well, I guarantee you, it happens over the course of 2 movies rather than 1. And I just sit there and I go, I am so bored of this format. I am so incredibly bored of this format. And I can't blame anything other than the oversaturation in the market. It's gotten to a point where there's so much there, and I'm seeing the same thing so often that I don't care for any of it anymore. Which is why I think we need to stop. I think if we have a year of no superhero movies, people go do something else. People that's entire thing is superhero movies, go work on a drama, go work on a period piece, you know. I don't care. Go work on a horror movie, and then come back and go, with what I've learned and with my time to just sit and chill, I'm going to do this and I'm going to do it differently.
Yeah, I mean, I think I've seen it online on a few places, and I might have even said it to you as well. But I think what the MCU specifically should have done was in Endgame, where they have that time jump, and they're in 2025 or something. They should have just stopped, and we caught up in real life, and then we went from. I feel like that would be really interesting if they just. In that gap, if that's when they made the TV shows, if they wanted to keep putting out content, okay. But I feel like the movies should have stopped for at least a bit. And obviously we had COVID, and that did stop them for a bit. And honestly, during that time, I felt kind of a little bit refreshed.
That sounds like I'm convincing you. That sounds like you're on my side.
Not for all, because I've
Here
got
comes
notes.
the but. Here comes the
Right.
but. There's always
So
a but.
you said the what were the ones that you said were okay? Iron Man 1 was fine, apparently.
By that, I mean Iron Man 1 was fine because it was new. It's not a great film by any stretch of
It's a
phrase.
fun film. It's a good, like, it's like a 6 out of 10. It's
But,
you know.
You know, if I'm are you asking what superhero movies I like? Or
Well,
liked
no,
when
not
they
that
started?
one, but as in what the ones that you mentioned to begin with.
So Batman Begins,
As
Dark
Batman
Knight.
Begins, Dark Knight, not the third one.
No, Dark Knight Rises is. But even so, I still think Dark Knight Rises is better than some of the stuff we're having pushed out today.
Really?
Yes.
You kidding me?
No.
That's insane.
I would rather watch The Dark Knight Rises than watch James Gunn's Suicide Squad any day.
Really? I mean, I wasn't a huge fan of that film when it came out, but having seen the Peacemaker show, it's really changed my mind on it.
But again, extra reading.
Well, yeah, extra reading, but it's extra reading in the sense of it made me reconsider a film I didn't like, and now I do. So I would say it was worth it. But, I mean, as one of 3 Incredible Hulk fans, I'm offended that you said that you didn't like it as much. Because I think that's one of the times because that was before you started using that format. And I think that was more of or they tried to make it more of a character piece in comparison. Definitely could have been better. I'm not saying that film isn't, like, perfect, but I think it's a bit harsh to kind of say everything before that was bad, because you've got, like, the old Superman films. Okay, like the first 2. And the old Batman films, and again, okay, the first 2. And, like, Blade as well. All different. They're all, because it was before that format.
And to say it, do you know what they have in common?
Oh, go on.
We hadn't got into this vile format yet. People were looking at being creative, being interesting. You know what? Even if you want to stretch it, Hellboy. If you think Hellboy's a superhero movie, not the new one.
Oh,
no, that doesn't exist. But the Guillermo del Toro.
I even like the second one.
Interesting. Yeah, same.
Even with the cheesy, like, stop motion thing, yeah. Not stop motion, slow motion thing, yeah.
Interesting, different, exciting. And then we just got into the format.
The MCU format of not really. I mean, it works. You can't say it doesn't. It makes money.
Well, it worked.
Well, yes, it is. I think, as much as we can sit here and be like, it's starting to not work, they're still making ridiculous amounts of money all the time.
That is true, and I do take the point. But I think an example that really does stand up in all of this, because there's been a lot of variety in the amount of films released on the subject and around the character. Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. A superhero movie that has been released in the modern day throughout all of this, that is just a 10 out of 10 film. Like, genuinely incredible film. And it's incredible because it didn't stick to the format and it broke the rules and it broke free from that. Well, Spider-Man's got to do this, or it's got to be like this, or we can't do this and we can't do that because it has to be rounded like this. And it is so good, and it deals with so many other things. We've got characters who aren't white and boring. We've got people from multiple dimensions, and it deals with it so well, and it's done amazingly. And it's because people have been brave and not done the same thing.
Well, I was going to say, because that was one of the 3 films that I had down that I was ideally going to challenge you with, but you've already mentioned 2 of them, the Batman, Into the Spider-Verse. The only other one is Lego Batman movie. Because that is an amazing film.
See, here's the thing. I don't want superhero movies to die. That's not what I'm asking for. I'm not asking.
I mean, you said that
isn't
stop.
I'm saying, yeah, but here's the thing. I'm not saying that they get wiped from existence. I'm just saying that everyone just has a year off. Have a year off, and we'll come back to it. guys. We'll come back to. And do you know what? In that year, we can watch one of the 46 movies that you've made in the last 20 minutes. And then once we've all had this break, and I don't mean a break in that you stop making films and you still release what you've made already. I mean hardline break. I mean, we're not watching superhero movies. You're not making them. And then in a year, come back to it, see what you make, see what you want to make.
Yeah, I mean, because I feel like, again, some of the other things that I've done, that people have experimented with the format, I've got down Chronicle and Unbreakable. And I feel like those two, really good examples. However...
Chronicle's great.
Speaking of Unbreakable, Split, again, I love. It's not really a superhero movie, but obviously it's technically the sequel. However, Glass was one of the worst films I've ever seen. And I don't know if that's partly because the whole point of it is it was kind of building up to be, oh, it's going to be a big fight, it's going to be an MCU thing, and then he just sort of drowns in a pub.
I think I would definitely agree that because of the popularity of the MCU, we've sort of drowned in the format.
Yeah.
Because, you know, even if people are looking to be different with Split and with Glass, execs somewhere, or even filmmakers. I can't speak because I'm not an exec or a filmmaker, and you know, it might be that one of them consciously or subconsciously goes, well, this is what superhero movies are, so that's what we need to do. And I think that's the big problem here. It's a case that we've gotten to a system where superhero movies are X and you shouldn't divulge to anything else.
Yeah, and so one of the things that I've done as well, just to get some more ideas from this, I've looked up sort of the top rated superhero films on like IMDb and Rotten Tomatoes. And top on Rotten Tomatoes and close in second, IMDb, Spider-Verse. Not a big surprise. Dark Knight is in the top 250 easily in IMDb anyway.
All time.
Obviously, you've got Endgame and Infinity War up there as well, which I can see the steam coming out of your headphones.
No. I understand. At that point, it was. You know what? At that point, I was still in there. I was still with everyone. I was riding the wave. You know, at that point, I kind of get to the point where it goes, I've watched since 2008 when Iron Man came out. I may as well carry on. I'm here. Let's see where this goes. You know, there's been so much build-up. I've spent far too much money coming to see the same film 3 times, so it can reach the top of the box office. And so let's see where it goes. And you know what? Endgame and Infinity War, great, like perfectly serviceable. I'm very glad that they tied everything up. That's where I wanted it to stop, and it didn't. And so I'm not surprised they're up there. Big hype merchants were those films. Big hype merchants. Not necessarily the highest quality, but the hype was there. To a point where I recall being in uni at the time, going to lectures and having lecturers who have never spoken about stuff, you know, being like, oh my God, guys, have you seen this film? Yes. That's the answer. Yes, I have. But yeah, no, big hype merchants for those films, and I can understand that. But what's next? What's next after Infinity War and
Dark Knight Rises? Oh, jeez. No Way Home, which obviously feeds on that nostalgia train. And I really like that film. No Way Home is the newest one with the 3 actors back.
Sorry, I can't distinguish between Spider-Man Far From Home, Spider-Man No Way Home, and Spider-Man Home Alone 2, where Peter Parker
gets lost in New York.
scolds Donald Trump.
I mean, titling aside, I think the other 2 could have been stronger. They weren't great, but this new one I really enjoyed it. I think that's almost as good as Spider-Verse, in the sense that it's essentially the same plot, kind of. It's multiverse stuff and other Spider-Men. But it fixes and again, going back to what I said before, it kind of puts a little plaster on those other movies and makes me go back and go, oh, actually, Spider-Man 3 wasn't that bad.
Do you hear what you're saying? You just said that this MCU carbon copy is as good as the masterpiece.
I said almost as good.
No. You said what you said, boy. You said that they're even remotely in the same realm.
Right.
Have you seen them both?
Yes.
I haven't.
I win. Yes.
I can hear hypocrite being shouted on the sidelines already.
I know you wouldn't like it because I know what you're like. You don't like fan service. And that's essentially what the last third of that film is.
I'm not there for it. And it's just so... I think I'm just longing for creativity. I just want some creativity, and that's it. So I think, to wrap it up, I think we both need to give 3 reasons why or why not this should be an unpopular opinion.
Ooh.
Why or why not the fact that superhero movies need to stop should or should not be an unpopular opinion. You can give a mix, but I think at the end we need to come to a decision as to whether it is deserving of its label. Would you like me to lead?
Yeah, because this is yours. You started this.
1. I don't think it should be unpopular because I think everyone should want creativity from the film they watch. I think people should want something different and not long for the same film that they've seen 5 times before with a different character name. I think, so for my second point, I think people should be excited for what could come if we had this break. I think obviously people are going to be sad to begin with, and it's going to be very disappointing that you're not going to get to see Red Steve or whatever the next film is. But what could come out of this? Something so amazing that you've never seen before. Like, imagine your favourite superhero movie. Imagine that, but times 10. Because people have done something new and done something different. And I think my final point is the reason it shouldn't be unpopular is because I'm tired of going to my partner, going, should we go to the cinema? And go, oh, yeah. What's on? And listing 4 different superhero movies that neither of us care about. Those are the 3 reasons. It's as simple as that.
I mean, I understand they kind of want to see something that you care about, but I mean, just go to an art cinema if that's what you want, right? That's don't go somewhere expecting something that you're not going to get.
I already I rebuttal that point, but I'm not going to because it's your chance to say what you want to say.
Right, 3 reasons. I feel like you can't just kind of go cold turkey, right? Because that would be... No, I get it. I get where you're coming from, but at the same time, from a studio perspective, that just wouldn't happen. As much as it maybe should, it wouldn't, because these are the biggest money-making things ever at this point, making billions. So, if they didn't come out, and audiences would be like, oh, there's nothing to go and watch, because... Let's be honest, we're not necessarily the general audience, really, are we? We're film students, so, yeah. But if you get, like, average, normal person who only watches the Fast and Furious movies in the MCU, they're just going to be like, oh, well, I'm just going to watch more Netflix and stay at home. And they lose loads of money. And the studios shut down. They need to kind of put out that guff to fund other projects, which is what I also was... One of my second point was the only reason, really, you got into the Spider-Verse was because Sony made those other Spider-Man movies before it. The ones that you hate, those superhero movies that are just in that format, made the money for them to experiment. That's the only reason they had that money there. As much as it sucks for you, but you got one good film, one film that you liked. And then plus, lastly, just kind of from a genre perspective, if you stopped it for as much as you said it's only a year, knowing, like, because I grew up with those films, and you know, not just the MCU, but all of the other ones. That's partly an inspiration for why I wanted to kind of get in the film industry. And you stop that, then like kids don't have that sort of window into there, and you always want to inspire more creativity in filmmakers. So that's me. That's what I've got to say on that one.
Well, you've brought in kids and dreams.
Think of the children.
I've just lost. And I think, unfortunately, I'm going to have to sit in my corner of unpopularity. I think I'm going to have to sit there and just cry while Red Steve comes on screen and people go pay lots of money to watch it. Unfortunately, I don't think this is one that I'm going to win. I think those films make far too much money. I think far too many people still watch them. And I think far too many people still tolerate them. And so I think for this one, I'm being shunned back into my darkness. My unpopular opinion goes back into the back pocket and hidden until I really want to have a big shout at someone. So that's it. The fact that superhero movies should stop is destined for unpopularity.
Unlucky.
Yeah. Well, until next week, Mr. Lingwood. Until next week, where I'm going to shun you back into unpopularity.
Where we're changing it up with a bit more of an artsy one, but in however many weeks' time, and how many episodes' time, I will be coming back to a superhero film that I really don't like, and I think I'm the only person on the planet that doesn't like that film.
It's going to be a tough one. It's going to be a tough one. It is,
yeah, it's going to be a tough one.
But
we'll find out. It's going to be interesting.
And in the meantime, you can follow us on all of our socials over at...
on Twitter, it's at DisputePod, and on Instagram, it's directorial_disputes.
And for now, I'm going to return to the shadows of mentioning superhero movies again.
Bye. Have fun in your little dank corner.
Like a hobbit. Or a Schmeagol.